seen in someone else's perspective. The NBA, the MLB, the NFL, NCAA, everything sports related. Seen by Steve Plaza's perspective. It's the SP Show. SP Show with Steve Plaza exclusively on YouTube. Here is your host, Steve Pius.
Welcome guys to another dose of the SP Show. We are back today after the opening day of the MLB. Pretty exciting. You have all these games going. I think the MLB is pretty exciting. You see what inning they are, the bases full, scores, home runs, highlights right afterwards. Pretty interesting. But yeah, we will talk about that later. But as of now, we have the NBA first. All these playoff games and some controversy. We're going to talk about that in a bit. And that is exactly why we are going to analyze the New York Knicks Orlando Magic game. So let's get this started. So in the Knicks Magic game last night, you have the Knicks defeating the Magic 96 to 80. 7 Knicks combined to make 13 3-point shots, and Tyson Chandler outplayed Dwight Howard in the middle to help New York hand the Orlando Magic their 5th straight loss, 96-80. Carmelo scored a game-high 19 points for the Knicks, and Tony Douglas and J.R. Smith came off the bench with 15 points each. New York led by double figures throughout the second half. Howard did not score until the final seconds of the third quarter, and finished with 8 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 turnovers. Tyson Chandler says, "Honestly, I felt like we were just aggressors tonight. Once we took them out of their comfort zone, maybe some doubt crept into their minds because of all the turmoil. We'll talk about that in a bit. But the Knicks, who came in ranked 27th in the NBA in three-point shooting at 35.1%, made 13 of 25, 52%. So the Magic never recovered from a 3.5-minute stretch early in the second quarter, in which Smith and Steve Novak made 2 3-pointers, each without missing, stretching a 1-point Knicks lead to 11. Magic opponents have been hot during their losing streak, shooting a combined 52%. So you have Magic head coach Stan Van Gundy saying, "I don't know how many times it's happened to us this year, but just in the last few weeks, it's something that's driving me crazy. Every game we have guys on the other team who come into the game shooting under 30% in threes, and they make multiple threes. Tonight it's J.R. Smith, Landry Fields, and Carmelo Anthony. That certainly had nothing to do with anything that happened this morning." Magic head coach Stan Van Gundy asked if the loss might have been related to comments he made earlier Thursday that Howard wanted him fired. As you guys heard right now, Dwight Howard wanted Stan Van Gundy to be fired. He said he just doesn't have the potential to lead them to a title that Howard really wants. You know what, Howard? No, I'm not going to say it yet. We're going to get into really pretty soon after the NBA analysis of both games. But in really, I have a pretty darn chili, spicy. Well, not chili. I meant like chili. You know, the chili, spicy. I have a pretty darn spicy, really segment today that I think is going to be the best one in the whole show. So, we'll get into that later. But Fields missed all 6 of his free throw attempts for the Knicks. Fields drove and drew a third personal foul on Howard early on the third quarter, stifling any chance the Magic center had of getting out of his scoreless funk. Van Gundy's revelation, 7 hours before tip-off, that Howard had asked management to fire him certainly didn't do anything to inspire his team. Overriding the presence of the Knicks, the presence of TNT, the Magic's losing streak, and everything else was a Van Gundy-Howard feud, or the perception of it, and the assumption that Van Gundy's days as the Magic's head coach are numbered. Magic guard J.J. Redick says, I've never been on a team that hasn't gone through some tough times. I think our tough times are magnified this season because of everything that's gone on and off the court. Iman Shumpert, rookie for the Knicks, started at shooting guard and played 37 minutes, scoring 9 points. So Howard Van Gundy and general manager Otis Smith had a chat during the day, but Howard refused to talk about Van Gundy's comments after the game. Magic forward Hedo Turkoglu left the game in the second after sustaining a cut under his right eye. He took 3 stitches. The Magic's losing streak is the franchise's longest since January 2007, before Van Gundy was hired as a coach. So the following games for the Knicks: you have Sunday hosting Chicago, that's a loss. Tuesday at Chicago, loss. Wednesday at Milwaukee, win. For the Magic, Saturday at Philadelphia, so tomorrow at Philadelphia, win. Yeah, I'm going to say it's a win. Monday hosting Detroit, win, and Tuesday at Washington, win. So the Magic are sustained in their control, and they are just relaxed. They will win their following 3 games. They're pretty easy wins. Except for the Philadelphia game, it's going to be close, but I think it's going to be a win. So, game stats. Field goal percentage, Knicks win 48-7, 41-7. 3-point percentage, Knicks win 52%, 37.5 Magic. Free throws, 68.8 Magic, 46.7 Knicks. Total rebounds, 41 New York, 35 Orlando. Offensive rebounds, 10 Knicks, 8 Magic. Turnovers, 11 Knicks, 14 Magic. Fast break points, tied at 7. Biggest lead, New York 21, Orlando 8. Points in the paint, 28 New York, 36 Orlando. Player stats, you have 19 Carmelo for the Knicks and Richardson 16 for the Magic. Not sure what Richardson it is though. Let me check. Jason Richardson, 16 for the Magic. Rebounds, Chandler 12 for the Knicks, Howard 8 for the Magic. Assists, J.R. Smith 9 for the Knicks, Nelson 5 for Orlando. Steals, Baron Davis 2 for the Knicks, 3 players had 1 each for Orlando. Blocks, none for the Knicks, 3 for Howard for Orlando. So in the series so far, New York leads 2-1. That they just closed the regular season series. And in the average points scored, you have Orlando scoring 91 points per game, and the Knicks, they scored 100.5 points per game. So the Knicks are just winning the series so far, even though they didn't win in wins. But they technically are winning it in paper. We're going to cover the Boston Celtics Chicago Bulls game now before the break, so let's get that going. So we have the Bulls and the Celtics. The Bulls beat the Celtics 93-86. So after falling behind by 13 late in the first half, the Chicago Bulls locked down the visiting Boston Celtics in the second half and recorded a 93-86 victory Thursday at the United Center. Luol Deng led the Bulls with 26 points, 18 in the second half. Chicago's Carlos Boozer had 12 points and 14 rebounds, while Joakim Noah had 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 blocks for the Bulls. Paul Pierce had 22 points for the Celtics, while Kevin Garnett had 12 points and 14 rebounds, and Rajon Rondo had 10 points and 12 assists. The Bulls trailed by 11 at halftime, but took 12 more shots than the Celtics in the second half, thanks to 9 offensive rebounds. The Bulls committed 8 first-half turnovers, but only had 4 more in the second half. Bulls finished the game with 8 blocked shots, while the Celtics had just 2. So Bulls center Joakim Noah talked about the second half. He said, "We just played more inspired." Boston coach Doc Rivers said, "We're not going to go to places with that kind of mental toughness. It was a crime. We just thought we were cool tonight. We were the cool Celtics. No one wanted to work." So the Bulls, they erased a 49-38 halftime deficit in the first 8 minutes of the third, including 8 straight shots just before Watson hit a three-pointer to tie the game at 58. In front of the TNT national audience, the game had a remarkable 30-second stretch in the fourth. With the Bulls up 81-77, Bulls guard C.J. Watson stole a pass from Paul Pierce and took off on a fast break. He missed his layup, but Luol Deng missed a putback as well. Celtics got the ball, but at the Boston end, Noah blocked Pierce at the basket, and Deng scored on a fast break layup for a 6-point Bulls lead with 4 minutes left. So, after playing the guessing game with the media before the game, The Bulls did not use guard Derrick Rose for the 12th straight game because of his sore right groin. Rose said he would definitely play against the New York Knicks on Sunday in Madison. Rip Hamilton had his best game of 3 since coming back from a shoulder injury, scoring 9 points with 3 assists and 3 rebounds with no turnovers. In his second game break from a sore ankle, Ray Allen came off the bench and scored 14 points in 31 minutes. Avery Bradley started for him and scored 9 points in 27 minutes. So Boston forward Paul Pierce said, "I don't know if it was tired legs or mental weakness, but we didn't come out and put this team away like we just have when we were up 11. So Joakim Noah had his second straight great game. In the 2 contests, he has made 12 for 17 shots, grabbed 9 rebounds in each, and has had 7 block shots. With the victory, the Bulls avoided their first 3-game losing streak in the regular season since March of 2010, when they lost 10 games in a row. Celtics have lost 5 straight regular season games at the United Center. When Ray Allen did not start Thursday, it was only the 4th time in his career he has played in a game when he did not start. For the Bulls, you have at New York Sunday, that's a win, versus New York Tuesday, at Chicago, that's a win, and then they're hosting Miami on Thursday. I think that's a loss, but it's going to be close. Fine, I'll take Chicago, so 3 wins consecutive if they stay consistent. For the Celtics, at Indiana on Saturday, that's a win. Philadelphia in Boston, so they're hosting Philadelphia on Sunday, that's a win. And then at Miami on Tuesday, I think that's a loss. So, let's look at the game stats. Field goal percentage, 42-9 Celtics, 41-2 Bulls. 3-point percentage, 38.5 Boston, 31.2 Chicago. Free throws, 84.6 Chicago, 83.3 Boston. Total rebounds, 36 Boston, 44 Chicago. Offensive rebounds, 7 Celtics, 14 Bulls. Turnovers, 13 Boston, 12 Chicago. Fast break points, 16 Boston, 11 Chicago. Biggest lead, 13 Boston, 10 Bulls. Points in the paint, 30 Celtics, 32 Bulls. So, in player stats, Paul Pierce had 22 for Boston. Luol Deng had 26 for Chicago. Kevin Garnett, 14 rebounds for Boston. Boozer had 14 rebounds for Chicago as well. Assists, Rondo had 12 for Boston. Watson had 8 for Chicago. Steals, Bass had 3 for Boston. Deng had 4 for Chicago. Blocks, 2 players had 1 each for Boston. Noah had 3 for Chicago. So, in the series, Chicago won 3-1 in the season. And Chicago, they scored season average per game of 90.5, while the Celtics, they scored 87 points per game. So there you go. That's an analysis of both NBA games for last night. So there you guys go. That's pretty much the analysis of that game, of those games. So after a commercial, we will transition. Actually, we won't. We'll look at the NBA standings, but then after that, we'll transition to the NHL. Talk about those games. Talk about the NHL playoffs as of now. A few more teams clinched and a few more teams left. After that, we will see the MLB. We will analyze the St. Louis Cardinals Miami Marlins game, and we will look at the other games from yesterday and do quick picks for today's games. After that, before Rumor Boom, we will do the Really segment regarding Howard and Stan Van Gundy. After that, we will do Rumor Boom. After that, we will probably do what was that? I'm not sure though, but we will definitely do try. And then my draft day special for the NFL will actually be recorded after this show, and I'll just sort of take my time to edit it and make it look good, and then I will release it and upload it on April 27th, the day before the draft. So there you guys go. That's how it's going to work. So we'll be right back for the NBA playoff picture as of now and much more. Sports and everything related. The SP Show. Be right back, guys.